drink champagne. I'm totally vibing. It's true what they say. It's all about timing.
Hi guys, welcome to Unscripted. My name is Cecilia. If you're new on this channel, I post fragrance related content as well as vlogs, and I would appreciate it if you did consider subscribing and joining the family. Now, to those who already subscribed, thank you so much for coming back. Welcome to today's video. But before I get into today's video, guys, my apologies for being absent. I have a trip that's going to take me away for a while, and I do have a project that I run, at the same time. So I've been trying to throw my weight around my project that is not, YouTube related, and just to make sure that by the time I leave, everything is in place. So that is the reason why I've been absent. But hopefully we're going to go consistent pretty soon, because the trip is going to be beneficial, especially to this channel and my other channel, which is C Chronicles Talking Sense. Now, today's video, guys, is going to be a review of Oscar de la Renta's Alibi Sensualle. I picked up this fragrance based on just the notes. I did not test it. I just thought, okay, based on the notes, I think I'm probably going to like it. And I do like it, although it does remind me of one or two fragrances that I have smelled before. This is the presentation. Obviously, if you're going to buy it as a single fragrance, it's not going to come in this presentation. However, I just had to show you what to expect there in terms of packaging. Mine is a gift set, so it comes all the small one, the bigger one, and the little lotion there. The close-up of the bottle is this Oscar de la Renta Alibi Sensualle is what we're here to talk about, and the sprayer is actually right there, so there's no need to take off the cap or anything like that. Now, this is the atomizer. I like this atomizer, very nice. I like the precision of it. Now, the notes listed for this are going to be sandalwood, menthols, rose, white tea. There's a lot of exciting notes there. There is musk as well as what they're calling a skin accord. The skin accord is something that I saw on Fragrantica, and I was like, oh wow, okay, so we now have kind of synthetically created a skin note. What? Right, so they have listed that now. There's something to expect, that this is going to have a wrap up of a skin accord in it. However you interpret it according to your senses. Now, the fragrance composition in itself is a warm, spicy, not so sweet. So I wouldn't say buy this if you love sweet fragrances, but it does have that DNA where I can't call it sour or fresh. So because of the warm richness of it, I'm going to say it's semi-sweet. It also gives me an ambery wrap up of everything, it's that rich sweetness of the DNA. It also does qualify as dark to an extent, and there is a vanilla note that I detect in this, but the vanilla note comes just as a presentation of what feels like a vanilla mixed in a lot of spices. So there's going to be a thickness to this vanilla rather than a sweet, like a, vanilla, possibly the way we like to interpret it in a gourmand way. This is, to my nose, a complex mix, something that I was not expecting from Oscar de la Renta, or at least for something that says Sensualle. Comes across as very thick, very rich, spicy, woody, okay, and with an underlying leatheriness there. The leather note could be a leather note that's included independently or bouncing off a separate note. But when I looked at the note pyramid there, the one that can sometimes come off as leathery is that osmanthus. But for me to say it's the leather bouncing off the osmanthus, not sure. It could be that there's an independent leather note here, because the same osmanthus can come across as fruity, and I do get like a muffled fruitiness in this DNA, right? I do get a muffled fruitiness in it. It is a rich DNA, something that's going to appeal to anybody who's looking for possibly an ideal fall scent. Just smelling like this, it screams, the quintessential fragrance that you would want to reach out for during, the fall season. It's mostly the woodiness that you're going to get here, that kind of maybe makes it a little bit tricky to class it as anything else. Going back to what the DNA reminds me of, and I am not saying this is identical to, but I usually come with examples of some DNAs that are already on the market, so that it gives a good mental shortcut to anybody who's looking to purchase this fragrance. This fragrance feels similar to that Tom Ford's Noir Parfum. So if you were one of those people that really got bummed when the Noir Parfum got discontinued, this is going to remind you somewhat of it. It's going to vibe in the same way, not exactly 100, but it's going to remind you of, that style of DNA. And if you haven't use the Noir Perfume, the wrap up of it, which is the general vibe of this fragrance, feels as a fragrance that a person who likes that Tom Ford tobacco vanilla is most likely gonna like. Okay, it doesn't have the note of tobacco listed in it, but I'm just saying, say for instance you are completely lost, you've never smelled that Tom Ford Noir Perfume and you're wondering what else I can liken it to, reminding me of course of that tobacco vanilla, of course minus the tobacco, right, and the vanilla coming across as rich there. Some may even detect a smokiness in the vanilla. It's just going to depend on how you interpret this, fragrance. Lasting power is pretty decent. Unfortunately, it's one that I'm going to say does not scream per se. So first hour, maybe 2 hours, you will get compliments if you're the sort of person that wears fragrances for compliments. However, it quickly becomes a fragrance that you, the wearer, will enjoy the entire time, which is up to 8 hours plus, even depending on the number of sprays. I am able to smell this all through the day, but I cannot say that, just based on how the DNA mix is, it's a fragrance that projects. Or let me just put it bluntly, I haven't received compliments wearing this. So I'm not sure whether people cannot smell it or what, but I can smell it on myself. It is also a fragrance that unfortunately performs better on clothes than it does on skin. And that could be based on just my skin chemistry, guys. The fact that maybe my skin eats up this fragrance, because on my skin it quickly disappears. Like after 3 hours I can hardly smell it, but on my clothes I can smell it all through, actually until the end of the day. So yeah, that is what I can say. There is a muffled fruitiness to this, so some of you are going to detect a fruity feel in this fragrance, something that feels like dried fruits, like raisins, that sort of thing. Some might even say they get like the smell of dates, where there is like a honey thing wrap up in this fragrance, but I think that's going to be nose specific as well. So yeah, guys, that is a close-up of Oscar de la Renta's Alibi or Sensualle. They have quite a number of them in this packaging. There is one that's called Alibi, but that one did not pique my interest that much because the notes listed there were pointing to something that's going to be crowd pleasing, and I like to go for some DNAs that will give me an element of surprise. So I ended up picking up this one because it did give me the notes that would probably go woody and spicy and stuff, and that's exactly what I got when it arrived here. So yeah, I can certainly recommend this. For the price, it's also worth adding to your collection. It's going to vibe quite different from the traditional mainstream fragrances that we've had there. So it's probably going to have a challenging element if you like your fragrances, quite mainstream. By mainstream, I mean like if you like your fruity fragrances, evidently fruity. If you like your florals, boldly floral. If you don't like the warm, spicy weight in your fragrances, this might come across as a little bit strange, because it gives me that DNA that is not, it's not a pretty DNA, and because of that, it vibes as safe to me for both genders, where you could literally purchase this for a man that would be able to wear it without a problem. I haven't smelled the other ones for me to dismiss them, but I'm going to say this for now is giving me unique vibes, in the sense that if you have used that Noir Perfume, you will know that it's quite woody, it's quite spicy, unique. If you have used that tobacco vanilla, you will know that that is quite a complex DNA. So it's not going to give you fluffy or floral, sweet or pretty. It's going to give you sort of the DNAs that are sought after by those who like, fragrances that smell pretty different, that are not your everyday fragrances where you walk in a shop or something like that, 10 people are smelling of this. No, this is probably a fragrance that, say you walked in a mall, maybe just you would be 2-3 people smelling like this in an entire mall. That's what I can say about Alibi, guys. C Chronicles is my name. Thank you so much for joining me today. Let's meet in the comment section where we discuss more about fragrances. Have you tried this Oscar de la Renta line? Because I think there's 3 or 4. If you have, which one would you recommend that I look at next? I like the price. It's not on the very expensive side, so I could possibly add another one to my collection based on your recommendations. Remember to turn on post notifications, guys. That way you get to be notified anytime I upload a video. Stay safe, be blessed. Love you as always, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.